Welcome again. It is June 22nd. This is, I always forget the weeks, but June 22nd. Happy summer. We just hit summer on the 20th. So it's officially summer. The weather's definitely making it feel that way. What does this week look like? So less work this week. You know what? Probably the craziest thing, well, it's not really crazy, but the most kind of out of place thing that happened this week was I was put on the schedule multiple times this week and I had no idea. And then I got a call from my manager asking me why I hadn't come to work for 2 days. And I was like, oh, I didn't know I was working. And she's like, well, you're on the schedule and you're supposed to be there, an hour ago. So you should go in now. I said, okay. And then my friend who I work pretty closely with, she's like a work friend. I'd say like we haven't done anything outside of work, but I would definitely consider her a friend outside of it if we ever did. Spoke with her and I was like, hey, do you see anything? She's like, well, I see that you're on the schedule, but this happens a lot. I'm new to the manager. So I probably already said it, but this is a job that I'm coming back to. I was there for 5 years and then left while I was in school, came back now. And it's like new management. There's new things that everyone does. They're trying to expand the team. And yeah, I just told her, I was like, I don't understand. I had no idea. She's like, well, this happens a lot. So it's kind of the thing that we have. That's pretty new, so I'm not a fan of that, but that's been happening. Outside of that, life-wise has just been kind of just doing work for school. I'm trying to stay as pumped up as possible because I know that I'm getting like to the end of the month. We only have so many days. We have 8 days before this month is officially over. I have to have all my stuff done for my class, the last class I need for my master's. And I told you that I have to have those hours, and that's what, oh, that's something else that I forgot to talk about. Monday, I officially signed up for the class. We had a meeting, my preceptor and I, with my instructor about kind of what I should expect during the course. That went well. So yeah, I can officially start scheduling or putting in my hours into my course. And I can also start the assignments because I had no idea what was required. Thankfully, it's only 5, 6 if we count the, we're supposed to write like a synopsis of how that meeting went. So I got that finished, and I am working slowly. Not really slowly, but I'm working on my first assignment as fast as possible just because I really want to get it done. I don't want to get too excited and start saying stuff like, oh, there's no way. I just need to realize that if it does end up that way, I can't do anything about it. It's not in my hands. So yeah, that's kind of where I am on that side, on that juncture. Teaching. I've been still doing hours to make sure that I keep my schedules, my preceptor hours up, the work, school, that's really it. Those are the only things. Yeah, life's been about the same. That's really it. So I'm hoping that, if I could say I have a fun thing that I did, I'm kind of coming back into it, but I really like different franchises, especially ones that are, fantasy based. I haven't watched any of the new Marvel stuff that has come out recently. When I say recently, the latest things and the first thing I had to watch was Spider-Man, the Far From Home, and I I may have already like been into it before I actually watched the movie, because my brother had saw it in the theater and was telling me that, you know, you're going to like, your nostalgia is just going to lose its mind. And it did. So it was really good. I've been watching like different videos on YouTube of like, there's an extended conversation scene where all three of them talk. All three of the, I'm not going to say anything because in case you haven't seen it, it's really, really cool. And if anyone was a big fan of any of the other movies before the like whole Marvel universe thing happened, I think this is going to be a movie for you. It's so good. I loved the characters. I what not only that, but all the other things I watched before. I watched the whole, like, everything. I watched that. I watched the Ant-Man and the Wasp, Into the Multiverse with Doctor Strange, the TV shows. I've already watched Hawkeye, like when it first came out, I watched it, but I did like a recap of all the episodes there. I watched that new Miss Marvel. I watched the Marvels, and then Moon Knight. So I've seen all of them now. I think it's a format that is supposed to be more pushed towards the new, I guess, whatever the new Disney's supposed to be. I'm not a fan of the writing as much as, oh yeah, another one was Miss She-Hulk. I'm not really a fan of the writing in any of the shows. Any of the movies, I feel like the characters are all kind of the same, regardless of whether they're like different. Sorry, there's a lady over there like messing. I'm in a parking garage and she's like messing with something over there on her side. I'm not a fan of, like I said, it seems just like all of them want to be this like really like awkward person. All of them, like the awkward but cool superhero, and I don't really like it. It's kind of like flat. Like no one really has a personality except for being like, oh well, I'm just a normal person, and now I'm a superhero, which has always kind of been the appeal of what superheroes were, but none of them act, or they all act the same. So it just doesn't feel as authentic as like previous roles. If I could hope for, and it was kind of cool, they showed like a multiverse of one of the characters, Reed from the Fantastic Four. If I could have anything, I would love to have a remake or a continuation of the story, but I would love the original cast, like the original, like Jessica Alba. I can't remember the other. Well, I guess he can't be in it anymore because he's Captain America, so he couldn't really be Flash, or not Flash. He couldn't be I can't remember. God, why can't I remember his name? There's Susan Storm and is it Tony? Her brother. I can't remember his name, but the Human Torch. That's a great series. I love that one. I think my favorite out of the two, though, is Silver Surfer, because it was a really, really, really cool way that they did it. Plus, I love the Thing. Like, the Thing is one of the coolest, like, Marvel characters to ever exist. I love his personality. I love kind of the route that he had to take, because, I mean, he didn't really have a choice. But yeah, that's kind of where I've been. I finished all of those, so I'm good on the Marvel side. When I was going through my, like, I'm trying to do like a full of like all of the different types of fandoms. I wanted to go and do like a chronological view of everything. So I'm finished with the Marvel side for now. Out of everything that I've watched recently, if I had to recommend anything, of course I already recommended Spider-Man Far From Home. If I have to recommend a TV show, of the newest ones, of the very, very new ones, Moon Knight was probably the one that like got to me the most. I think it was such a cool, like I knew that I've read the comics, so I knew kind of what Moon Knight was previously, but then how they did it in the show was really cool. I like how it was like almost like a slow burn of like figuring out who he was. So that was really cool. If I have to, like, out of everything that Marvel has made, TV wise and movie wise, I think Marvel for the like multiverse out of this stuff. I was a really big fan of the first Guardians of the Galaxy. I loved, it was multiple facets of the movies that I really loved. The characters I thought were really well written. James Gunn did an amazing job. I loved the soundtrack for it. I loved the fandom like around it. And then just like the interviews that the actors were doing, I think was amazing. But that's also lost its lust as well. Like watching the third one, even though the story was nice and I loved the continuation of it. I think everything kind of sucked because the endings of everything was meant to be like, oh, we have all these people that are now going to be the newest generation of our Marvel universe, which kind of sucked. It was like, I think the only one that was kind of like, oh, this is nice was Wakanda Forever. I think the ending of that was really sweet with that character. But the rest of them, it was just like, oh, all right, well, I'm going to watch them all because that's, I'm keeping up with I'm going to keep up with the series and the fandom, but I don't know. I think I looked on Reddit to see kind of the consensus of what everyone else thinks, and they kind of agreed where it's lost not only the lust, but there's not a character that you actually feel like you can be close to in this anymore, or there's not a character out of the group that you hate that you eventually find, like, that you connect with in a way that's either positive or negative, and that you can see throughout the series that's going to change. I felt that way about Iron Man. I could not stand him, like, in the beginning. But it was after I watched Iron Man 3, that was really what changed, like, my feelings about him. And then seeing throughout the series and then finally seeing him in Endgame, it was just like this arc that you feel with every single character. I felt that same way about Black Widow, where it was just, I was like, ugh, she's such just like Family Guy did it best, where they're like, what's her secret power? It's kicking. That's just how it is. And I loved that about the original Marvel series, all of the movies, all the characters. But I don't know. I don't think it's going to get back to that. I think people are going to have to not watch this stuff and like drop the numbers to have that happen. But at this point, there's no way. So my next series is getting back on Star Wars because there's the new TV series that's come out. So I watched through everything when Mando, the first season, was like halfway made. So I've lost a lot of kind of my understanding of everything. So I'm starting over again just for fun. I went to go see, it was during the anniversary, I think it was the 25-year anniversary of episode 1. I went to go see that in the movie theater. I was recorded on here, so I think it was one of my first weeks. So I can now start that series, but I want to be very careful. That the whole time I was watching the Marvel series was because I had time to myself. Now that my class is finally fully started, we're now like in the last couple days of it, I really need to focus on that, as well as my new job that was supposed to start this month is going to be starting at the beginning of July. So I really need to get my head in the game to be ready for that. So yeah, that's really how everything's been. Kind of all the same, but different at the same time. So sorry, there's like people everywhere now. They like all come into their cars and staring. Well, not staring, but I don't want them to stare. So I think that's gonna be it for this week, the diary. So